Hello, friends. Your boy Jeff here with you, back in the spin zone after a too long absence, I know. But today I have 11 albums to show, plus everyone's been showing their record store day drop purchases. I missed out on the first one. I always seem to have had better luck getting record store day records online because the one record store that's remotely close to me is really crappy. So tried doing record store day there a couple times and it always was a big flop. So I did find something not from this current record store day, but from one last year for quite a good price. So I'll show that at the end. Normally, when I do spin zones like this, I basically show the albums in the order that I listen to them in. But I'm going to break with that tradition for this first album because even though it was one of the last ones I listened to in this current stack, it's something that I want to talk about a little bit, and it's going to sound weird, but almost warn you. The Charlatans Uk 1992 album, Between 10th and 11th, got reissued. Or I don't know if it even ever got a issue on vinyl. If it did, it was probably a very small pressing because in 1992, when this album came out, vinyl was dead. Just the same way it was for all the other 90s albums. But a lot of my favorite ones are coming around on vinyl again. So pretty happy about that. And I was super stoked to get this on vinyl because I had this on CD when the album came out. And I practically wore the thing out. I listened to it constantly. And then the CD player in my current car decided to eat it. It wouldn't eject, and I couldn't get it out. It wouldn't play, and it would just, like, the tip of the disc would just poke out. It wouldn't eject, and I couldn't grab it. So took a pair of needle nose, grabbed the end of the disc, and pulled, and it just destroyed it. So I've only had a couple of these songs on my iPod that I fortunately ripped, but nice to have the whole album back. Here's just the back cover, pretty plain. It's a gatefold. Show you the gatefold that you can see. Charlatans Uk has been one of my favorite bands. And speaking of record store day, I think last year they had Some Friendly was out on vinyl for record store day, but I missed out on snagging a copy of that. I don't think it got a wide release on vinyl. What I'm probably going to end up doing is getting both this and that one either on CD or digital, because I gotta tell you, the sound quality on this album is not good. I'll show you. It's pressed on clear vinyl. Very pretty labels. But the sound quality is very muffled. It sounds like it almost sounds like I've got earplugs like half in my ears. It's there's no highs, there's no mids. It's just a very low, muffled, bassy sound, which isn't bad because this album is pretty bassy to begin with. I mean, all the grooves are centered around the bass and the organ. But I'm just telling you guys, it's not good. So if you're a fan and you're excited to get this album on vinyl, I'd say buyer beware. I don't know if it's just a bad pressing run. I don't know if I just have a bad copy. I don't know. I'm just telling you. Usually I'm pretty positive with the stuff I show on the Spin Zone, but I just gotta be kind of negative on this one because it's really kind of crappy. And it really bummed me out because I was glad to have this on vinyl after such a long time. And yeah. Hold up the back here. You can see there, it's a 2-disc set. The first disc is the actual album itself. The second disc is a live performance they did at Metro here in Chicago back in 1991. And that has the same sound quality problem. Very muffled, very, low and muffled sounding. So the music is great. I mean, I can't fault this, the music, but for this pressing, if anybody else came across this album, I'd be interested to know what your copy sounded like, if you're a fan of early 90s Britpop. But yeah, I've always liked the Charlatans UK. I think it's sometime in the mid-90s they got rid of the UK part of their name and just called themselves the Charlatans, because that's the way it's listed on this album. But I know the CD it said on the front Charlatans UK. But just wanted to warn you guys, give you a heads up. It's one of my favorite albums of the 90s, but this copy is no bueno. Okay, now back to our regularly scheduled spin zone. First up is an album by the band called Ape. And if you're a fan of Mazzy, as I know all of you are, and if you're not, what the hell's wrong with you? You'll know that he has been selling this album pretty hard on some of his videos. Rightfully so. I took a chance on it because I liked the sound clips that Mazzy played. I got a copy on orange vinyl, just like he did. But on the website, you can get orange, black, silver, I think, blue, and green. There's like all these different color combinations. But I went with orange because it's, it seemed to fit this early 60s vibe, the tiki bar vibe. And that's just what this kind of music is. It's very pleasant to listen to. Most of it is instrumental. I think like 2 songs have vocals on them. But I don't know what kind of music you'd call this. Tiki rock, retro. I don't know. This probably would have fit in the 90s when like a lot of the big band stuff became popular too. This probably would have fit in that same mold. But I love the cover. I love the packaging in this album too. Very artistic. It's very cool. And Mazzy's a cool guy. So of course he's going to show a cool album. Right? Right. So you can order this direct off of their website. I don't know what the link is. I'll have to see if I can put it in the description below. I forget it off the top of my head. But if you like this kind of music, check it out. It's Ape, and the album is called Supersonic. I dig it. Another one that I dig, that I learned about through some of my friends in the VC, is this album here, called Shake What You Brought. Soul Treasures from the SSS International label. This one, and I'm also breaking tradition because I'm taking this one out of order too. I also have this one called My Goodness Yes, which is Soul Treasures from the Silver Fox label. So here we go. Sorry for all the glare. As you can see, both of these albums are pretty similar sounding, but they're both really, really good. And they're both really, really cheap on Amazon. In fact, this one only cost me like $8.62. And I think since I bought it, the price went down even more. This one was only like $7.50 or $6 or something like that. So they're They're Sundays pressings. They're both on this clear gold, yellow gold vinyl. They both sound fantastic. Both have been mixed by Kevin Gray. Both have been pressed at Third Man, who does a pretty stellar job with their pressings, with their records. And the music is fantastic. If you like 60s soul, if you like 60s kind of funky soul, you know, these are the records for you. So go on Amazon, look them up, Shake What You Brought, My Goodness Yes. I think there's a third one, if I'm not mistaken. I can't remember the name of it right now. But for less than $20, you can get a couple of really cool sounding albums. Shake What You Brought, My Goodness Yes. Classic stuff. Go out and get it now. Highest recommendation. Okay. Next one. My friend Emma over at 8 Vinyl Low is a big fan of Bert Jansch. So when I heard the song Poison, which is off of this album here, Birthday Blues. Here is the back cover. I was hooked. I think it's a fantastic song. It gives me the chills every time I hear it. The singing, the guitar playing, it's just so atmospheric, weird, slightly creepy, but very hypnotic and engaging. And the rest of this album is the same. So, thanks to Emma, of course, I'm now on the hunt to find some more Bert Jansch for my collection. And I know he had a Record Store Day release with this most recent one. But pretty much any kind of Bert Jansch that I can find, I'm going to try and look for. So this album came out in '69, I believe. This isn't an original pressing, but it's an older pressing. Sounds great. Highly recommended. And yeah, this was a good recommendation from one of my favorite people in VC. So thank you, Emma, for telling me about Bert Jansch. Then I've been going through the neighbor haul that I'm calling all the records that I got a month or two back, and this was in it. Retrospective, the best of Buffalo Springfield. I used to have a 2-record set of Buffalo Springfield, but I gave that to my guitar player. This copy is from the early 80s. It's on the Atco label, and it's in mint condition. And it's really all you need, as far as I'm concerned, for the Buffalo Springfield. I mean, here, I'll just show you the back. You basically know what all the hits are if you've heard of them at all. And this album covers all those bases. So, you know, it's pretty cool. It's Buffalo Springfield. It was a good listen. Then, an album that has been a long-time crate resident, but finally got pulled, is the newest album from Graham Parker called Cloud Symbols. This came out, when did this come out? In 2018, yes. Here's the back cover. Pretty much a blind buy. I mean, I'm a fan of Graham Parker, especially his 70s and 80s records. Admittedly, I haven't heard anything new from him in a very long time. So when I saw this album pop up again on Amazon, it was for a pretty low price. So I decided to take a chance and buy it. Is it as good as the stuff from the 70s and 80s? No, I have to be honest, it's not. It's pretty generic sounding. I mean, his voice is basically the same as it's always been, but a lot of the fire is gone from his performing, I'm sad to say. This is an okay album, but it could have been released by anybody, really. I know his earlier albums had a lot more fire and passion in them. Of course, passion is no ordinary word. Do you get that joke? So this was just okay. It'll go in the collection for a while. Don't know how long it'll stay there. I know some people that I've been talking to a lot have been talking about purging their collection, going through it, kind of deciding the worthiness of certain records to be kept or gotten rid of. I've been meaning to do that myself. In fact, I'm going to have a week vacation here at the beginning of October. So fingers crossed, I'm going to be able to kind of go through my collection and decide if what's in there is something that I'll be playing, months and years from now or not. So this one's kind of on the fence. Like I said, it was just okay. Cloud Symbols by Graham Parker. Wait, I think this was colored vinyl too. I'll show you all the colored vinyl because I know that's more fun to look at. Here we go. It's kind of like a translucent pink, kind of like a dark pink color. That's okay. Another record that I found at Half Price Books is a live album by Paul Butterfield. Live in New York, 1970. It's a double album, but it's a non-gatefold, which I don't like. But overall, the sound on this is pretty good. The Butterfield Blues Band by 1970 had really kind of morphed from the guitar-based blues that they started out with in their career, and horn section was added, and the guitar was less of a focus and more it became more groove based compared to hard blues based. Still good. I mean, there's also an album called, I think, Paul Butterfield Live that came out officially. This came out a couple of years ago, I think, on the deluxe label. No, sorry, Rock Beat label. But this was a radio broadcast that got pressed to vinyl. Sound quality is it's not super crisp, super clear all the time, but it's okay. I'm a fan of Paul Butterfield. I saw this at Half Price. I figured, what the hell, I'll give it a shot. Like I said, the music is good, sound quality, so-so. But yeah, the sound of the band was more towards like Chicago, Blood, Sweat, and Tears, Ides of March, horn bands that had guitar in them, but that wasn't the main focus. And of course, he plays a lot of harp in this one too, as you can see on the cover. Good stuff. Probably not essential if you're if you're picking albums to buy from these guys, but it was okay. The Spin Zone isn't really it's not getting a lot of raves, is it, for me this time? I'm honest. What can I say? Try to be positive, but sometimes you just have to speak your mind. This is another album from the Neighbor Hall. It's just a 60s comp called Good Vibrations. Sounds of Top 40 Radio, 1964 to 67. This was another 80s album. Let's see, what do we got on here? Of course, Good Vibrations is on here. A couple of Johnny Rivers songs. Memphis, Baby I Need Your Lovin'. What the World Needs Now is Love, Sweet Love. Jackie DeShannon. Classics 4 with Spooky. One of my all-time favorite songs. One of the greatest songs of the 60s. And I love the Atlanta Rhythm Section cover of it from the late 70s too. I just love that song. Come a Little Bit Closer, Jane the Americans. Wouldn't It Be Nice by the Beach Boys. All in crisp, clear sound. Like I say, it was a brand new album from the 80s. And I was just looking for something easy and pleasant to listen to, so I put that on, to be quite honest. So this was cool. Then, another one from the Neighbor Hall. Had the CD, bought the CD when it came out. Now I got it on vinyl. Don Henley, The End of the Innocence. I find I can tolerate solo Don Henley a lot easier than I can tolerate most of the Eagles songs, to be perfectly honest. This album pretty much holds up. Of course, the title track, it sounds like Don Henley in the Range, because you've got, the Bruce Hornsby piano riff and the electronic drum track, and basically just sounds like Don Henley stepped into a Bruce Hornsby in the Range session and did some singing. Still a classic song, though. I still enjoy it. For the most part, this album, like I say, enjoyable. I probably never would have bought this on my own, but for free, I'll take it. The copy was in pretty good shape, just a little dusty. And most of these songs I'd forgotten about, to be honest. And as I heard them pop up, I was like, oh yeah. Don Henley didn't put out very many solo albums, but the ones he did were usually pretty well honed and produced. And for me, they've stood the test of time pretty well. So pretty happy to have this one. And last for this stack is a blues album, Guitar Slinger by Johnny Winter. Picked this up a couple months back on the famous Alligator Records label. This was Johnny Winter's first album with them, I believe, in the mid-'80s. And what can I say? This was kind of considered something of a comeback for Johnny Winter. Not the best singer, I've said that before, but fantastic guitar player. So as long as I focus on the guitar part and a little not so much on the singing, I enjoy it a whole lot better. So still love this album. Great to listen to. Like I said, great blues rock. You can't get much better than Johnny Winter when it comes to that sort of thing. So loved this one too. Guitar Slinger. And the Record Store Day purchase that I made that's of an older record store album came about because I got a gift certificate from eBay for $25. It was their anniversary or something, and they gave me a $25 certificate. So of course I went record shopping with it, and I found this for like $31 or $32 with free shipping. Put in tax and all that stuff. It only ended up costing me about $9. I know Emma is going to love seeing this. It's Cheap Trick, Are You Ready Live. This was their famous performance at the LA Forum, New Year's Eve 1979, when Cheap Trick were the kings of rock back then. It's a double album. Also came with a download card, which is cool. That's the other thing I want to mention about the Charlatans album. That one did not come with a download card, which was also disappointing, because I would have easily been able to just enjoy the music that way, but they did not include it. Cheap Trick does, though. So I haven't played this yet. In fact, I just pulled a shrink off it the other day and inspected it. So this will be popping up probably in the next Spin Zone, I would say, at the rate I'm putting these out. But yeah, this was one that I wanted to get. I think this was from the Black Friday one from last year, the Black Friday Record Store Day. Wanted to get this one, and of course, between the lack of record stores around me to get it in person, and then of course the high cost of flipping, by the time I waited it out, I forgot about it. It got lost in the shuffle. But I just decided to go searching for it on a whim, found a nice copy, brand new, sealed, and I got it for a nice cheap price. Cheap Trick for a cheap price. So there you go. Are You Ready Live by Cheap Trick. That is my Record Store Day purchase, just so I can show something like everybody else. I want to play too. All right, there you go. Just hit the 25-minute mark. Thank you all for watching. I will see you all soon. I enjoy all of your comments. And yeah, we're heading into fall. It's my favorite time of year. The weather's starting to turn cool finally. And yeah, I'm hoping to find more time to spin more records. So till next time, peace everyone. It's your boy Jeff, and I'll see you.